So welcome and happy full super moon in Libra. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Vina Lene Rachel. I am a moon priestess, a healer, a channeler of the divine, and I host these live moon circles almost every new moon and full moon. So today we're honoring the full moon in Libra. We'll also be talking about the Vedic astrology, which is Hasta Nakshatra. So we'll talk a little bit about that and also about the Indian holiday of Holi, which just started with this moon. And we'll talk a little bit about the energy ahead with a tarot reading. So feel free to stick around at the end of the transmission. If you are here joining live, feel free to say hi. Let us know where you are from and how you are feeling today. How are you feeling with this full moon in Libra? Have you noticed that it's different from the other full moons, if you've been aware? Or have you noticed the shift in energy to spring? Are you noticing this is a super moon? Feel free to share anything in the comments, and feel free to ask questions or share anything in the comments as we continue through this transmission. We'll be together for about an hour tonight. I would like us to do a breathwork practice together tonight. We're also going to be doing a self-love practice tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the planet Venus, which Libra is ruled by, and Venus is also combust with the sun right now. This is called a Kazemi or Kazemi, and we will discuss what that means. So we have a lot to talk about. You might want to have something handy to write with. You might want to have, some sort of pen and paper, either to take notes on anything that we discussed tonight or anything that comes through for your full moon releasing ceremony, which is something that we'll talk about later, something for possibly a fire burning ceremony for that release, or maybe not. There's other ways to release as well. We are going to start by actually setting up our circle of the elements. And this is something I do with every moon circle, just to bring in this aspect of nature to remind us that we're one with these energies of nature, and just like nature is affected by the lunar energy, so are we. So when I build up my elemental circle, I bring in the 5 elements, and you could certainly do this at home on your own with your own elements, or if you had the same elements as I do, you could use those. You could also just take in the energy that I'm building with these elements here. One thing that's great about this virtual space that we share is it's an element called the ether. And the ether withstands space and time, and it really connects us to these energies that we're sharing. So as I'm joining you right now from wherever you are, my energy is connecting to the energy that you're in. Your energy is connecting to mine, and we're sharing this space. So all of these elements I'm bringing in, you're going to feel the sensation of those energies possibly as well. But just know that they are transmitting to you just as much as they are to me tonight. They're here for our collective full moon circle. So I'm starting with the element of earth, and I always like to bring in a crystal. Today I'm bringing in a rainbow moonstone egg, and this is one of my favorites. I've actually had this for several years now, but you can see that iridescence shining through as the light kind of reflects there. I'll try to get it as close as possible. So rainbow moonstone is always nice to work with during the full moon, because the full moon tends to illuminate our energies with both shadow and light. You can see this speckled black and white that's revolving throughout this egg, representing that shadow and light energy. There's also the rainbow aspect of rainbow moonstone, and rainbows do remind us that there's, this creative energy or this radiant light on the other side of the storm. And so anytime we have this chaos around us, we can be reminded that there might be a rainbow on the other side of it. And so rainbow moonstone is a great reminder of that. Now I'm bringing in an egg-shaped crystal, and depending on the shape of a crystal that you use, you are bringing in different energies. This is an egg energy representing spring, the sign of fertility, the sign of what is to come, the potential of growth, the seeds of our intentions and dreams that we're planting. Maybe this is an actual symbol of fertility for you if you're trying to conceive. And, we're coming close to Easter next weekend, and we just celebrated Ostera not too long ago. And so Ostera being the celebration of Easter almost in a different way, in a much older, ancient way, but in the belief of eggs that, loud cycle going by. It's a beautiful day here. If you go back to Ostera, we're talking about Isis, and Isis being birthed out of the egg, or there's also stories of Isis having a pet bird or a pet chicken that was laying eggs, and she wanted something that could travel the world, and so she turned her bird into a rabbit, and the rabbit could move swiftly around the world, and you kind of be with her energy, but the rabbit missed being a bird. So every once in a while, she allowed, maybe once a year, the rabbit to embrace the energies of the bird and lay eggs. And so you can see the similarities between that and the egg-laying Easter bunny that we're going to be visited by in about a week. And so we're just bringing in this egg energy, however you want to look at it, whether you're looking at it from a mythological lens, or you're looking at it through a Christian lens, or you're looking at it more from just, the potential of eggs and seeds and what they represent. This is a great tool to use with your full moon tonight. So I'm just going to keep this rainbow moonstone egg right underneath the computer that I'm transmitting from, so the computer can take in that energy, send it off to you as well. And then I'm moving on to a second earth element. I'm bringing in a brand new bundle of white sage. And I really love this bundle because it kind of looks like a flower that's getting ready to open. So it's not very big. It's just, kind of half the size of my hand. And it's that potential, right? What is getting ready to come? But what's great about sage, or when we smudge, is we're actually creating space for the arrival of those things to come. So I'm combining this earth element with the element of fire, now bringing in our second element. And this is going to catch flame and turn into the element of wind or smoke, which is our third element. And you can see that smoke giving off now. And this, like I said, this is a brand new bundle, which I thought was appropriate for this first full moon of the zodiac year. We're in Aries season, which is the first sign of the zodiac. And so it's a good time to really be smudging and cleansing your spaces. So I'm sending this smoke out to you as well through the ether. Hi, Mallory. Welcome to the circle. So we're just smudging right now as we set up our elements. And I'm going to smudge this space that I'm in as well, just so that we have a pure space of transmission, so that anything needs to come through will come through. And by the way, this is a good time to sage or smudge your house and your sacred spaces. Just make sure that you have windows and doors open to let that smoke go somewhere and let all that stuck energy go somewhere. But saging and smudging actually cleans the bacteria and the viruses out of the air as well. So it's not just hokey pokey woo woo. We are cleaning the air that we're in, and it's good to breathe in purified air right now, right? It smells really good. So I'm just going to let that burn out in my shell here, and that's going to continue to burn. You might see some smoke traveling up. I've got that sitting next to you. We're bringing in our fourth element now. I'm starting with the element of water through essential oils. So tonight I'm going to be using the essential oil ylang-ylang or alang-alang, depending on how you pronounce it. And I really like this oil for Libra energy because it represents balance. It even has that double balance name, ylang-ylang, which to a Libra, which I am, it's just very It's aesthetically pleasing to hear. And the other thing I like about this oil is it is a harmonizing oil. So it brings in peace and balance. If you are feeling heightened in your energy right now, because the full moon tends to heighten our energy, it pulls us up into our head. Gravity isn't as strong on earth right now. We're less grounded, so we're more up here. And if you're feeling that or feeling overwhelmed in your energy, or maybe you're feeling that fiery energy of Aries that's really heightened right now with the air of Libra, right? Which just makes us, angry and jealous and angsty and a little ragey, or, just however you're feeling in a heightened state, you can use a ling to bring you back down. And then the opposite as well. If you're feeling low, if you're feeling over emotional, I feel like you're drowning in your emotions, if you're feeling a lack of motivation, if you're feeling really tired right now, we're going to talk about that. All of these low frequency energies, again, Ylang-a-Ling will help to bring you back up into harmony. So it's a harmonizing oil, and you could diffuse this. You could put this on your pulse points to work with your heart. This is also the oil of the heart. So this works with your heart chakra. We're going to talk about why this is important tonight in a moment. So yeah, you could either put this on your heart, on your pulse points. You could diffuse it. You could smell it. I'm just going to take in a few whiffs of it. It smells so good. And it's so funny because I definitely think that I know it's fact that we're attracted to the medicine we need when we need it, right? Or, the things that smell good to us when we need them. And this smells amazing right now as a Libra in a full moon with an Aries child. This is really nice. This is what I need to calm my energy right now. We've been on the go all day. Yeah, Mallory says yes. So feel free to use Ylang-a-Ling in your ceremonies or in this energy right now if you need it. And I'm going to keep that bottle actually lid off right here as well, just so those frequencies of the plant go to you. Now, I don't know if you know that, but essential oils emit a different frequency. Flowers and plants emit a different frequency than humans, and they can actually help us to uplift our frequency or downregulate our energy, just like I talked about. So as this aroma is going out to me, the frequency of the plant is going out to you through the ether, which is really cool. And Mallory says, basically, as soon as she is done nursing, she's going to go run and get hers. Yeah. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, Mallory, because Ylang-a-Ling is little friendly. So if you have a baby, if you have a toddler, Ylang-a-Ling is friendly for them, but still dilute. Always dilute your oils. Even if you're an adult, dilute your oils with a carrier oil. It will make them last longer. Oils are pricey, so you might as well get the best bang for your buck, make them last. And when you put them on your skin with coconut oil or olive oil, jojoba oil, any sort of carrier oil, they actually stay on your skin longer because these are highly aromatic compounds. And when you put them on your skin neat or straight up, they aromatically absorb into the air quicker than they get into your skin. But if you use a carrier oil, it slows down that process and more gets into your body. So that's just a little oily tip. But yeah, feel free to use carrier oil and Ylang-a-Ling like on the bottoms of the feet of your babies, just to help kind of calm their energy when you need them to calm. Same thing for the toddlers. If you've got a fiery toddler like I do right now, you could do a little diluted Ylang-a-Ling on the heart space or down the back of the spine or on the feet. So they're absorbing that frequency and that energy, and it smells really good. It can calm them down, and it can calm them down without putting them to sleep. Sometimes it can put them into that restful state, but it can also just calm their energy. So just to let you know about that. I gotta clear my throat here. I apologize. And I'm actually gonna clear my throat with some hot tea. So that's the other aspect of water we're bringing in tonight. We're bringing in double water element tonight and double earth element to balance out this heavy air and fire that's circulating right now. So I have green tea. Anything green that you want to bring into your ceremonies right now, representing the energy of fertility, growth, spring. These are great ways to honor that energy. So I'm drinking green tea right now, which also helps you kind of detox a little bit. It gives you energy. Aries is a very energetic sign. Spring is kind of that sign of let's go, let's get ready, let's get out the gate and get stuff done. And then the green tea also helps me with my throat chakra, which is also affected right now with spring energy, kind of our sinuses and everything like that. I mentioned I had to clear my throat. So I'm just going to grab a drink of this to bring in this element of water. Soothing my throat chakra so that I can talk to you tonight. Okay, and then I'm just going to leave that off to the side. So we have, for our earth elements, we have our rainbow moonstone egg. We have our white sage bundle that finally decided to burn out here. We have the element of fire we brought into our sage, the element of wind or smoke we brought with our sage and smoke. We have the elements of water with the green tea and the ylang-ylang. And the fifth element is the element of ether, which we're already in. So now our circle is sealed. With that, let's take a deep breath. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, bring it all back down again. And shake it all out. So thank you for being here. I welcome you, whether you're here live or you're on the replay. Feel free, even on the replay, to add in the comments. I do go back and answer them, but let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you have any questions about this moon or anything about the energy going on right now. We do have a lot to talk about. I am going to start with the Western astrology, which is telling us that the full moon is in Libra, and also telling us that this is the first of 4 full super moons that we're going to be working with over the next few months. So this is the very beginning of super moon season. You can look at it in this way, which means that every full moon is kind of enhanced right now, beginning with this one. And the enhancement of energy is the full moon itself. So kind of that energy of thoughts whirling around in your mind, lots of energy making you want to move and do and clean. Might be a little bit of anxiousness or anger, more of those heightened energies. But it also heightens the energy of that particular sign. Now, luckily, we're in the sign of Libra, and Libra is all about peace, balance, justice. So we're trying to find that, kind of calm zen energy within this fiery Aries season. Now, the full moon sign is always the opposite of whatever the sun season is. So right now we are in Aries sun season, and the opposite of the Aries zodiac is Libra. And so that's how we get to that full moon energy. That's where we're at right now. It's kind of a way to balance out the energy in general, but when you think about the air of Libra and the fire of Aries, you really just get a lot more fire right now. So this might be you being fired up, wanting to do things. You're excited. You've got new ideas, or maybe you're have a fiery energy to be out with your friends and have fun and socialize. Maybe you have a fiery energy where you're feeling a little bit of conflict or feeling a little ragey right now. All of these things are perfectly normal. Just know that this is the season that we're in with this particular moon. And because this is a super moon, the energy is heightened even more. Now, super moon just means that the moon is closer to Earth than normal. So we are pulled up more towards that lunar energy than we normally would with just a regular full moon. So this is the crow moon or the worm moon if you're looking at Native American traditions. And I like Native American traditions because they always align the moons with the seasons, with what's going on in nature. And so you can start to see right now in North America, the ground is thawing out, the worms are coming up, the birds are out, or the crows are crowing in the morning time, or they're out flying around. You start to see those birds and those worms. And so that's where we get those labels for the full moon. Now, this is also a full moon that represents a Vedic side of astrology, and I like to talk about both of those. So we'll get back to the Western zodiac in just a minute, but let's talk about the Vedic side of astrology as well. On the Vedic side of things, this moon is in the lunar mansion or the nakshatra of Hasta. So Hasta means hand. So we're in the energy of not only our human hands, which is our heart chakra, and also where we have a lot of creativity. But this is also the energy of what is called the golden hand of God. So the golden hand of God represents all of that creative magic. It also represents positive, protective energy. So we're in a really strong, positive, protective energy right now. And it's so funny because I know Lisa's here right now, and we were just discussing that there's definitely an energy at my studio right now that just showed up a couple of days ago, and the lights were flickering, and it was at 4:44. And so I just know that the angels are there protecting us. But that's an energy that we're in right now as well, with this golden hand of God, this energy around us. Now, talking about heart energy and the energy of creativity, this is, the time of spring. It's the time when Mother Nature is creative, right? You're starting to see all the different colors around us. We're starting to see the different birds and the different insects, the butterflies, the bees, all the different sounds of nature, creative music. I don't know, I can't think of what it's called, but some people can see sounds or see music kind of in color or light. I kind of think about that, we're thinking about this color of nature coming out. And it's a really beautiful time to honor that energy, kind of honoring that energy of creator, creatress, but then going back to your own human hands and realizing that you have that same creative energy. So you move that energy into your life by moving through your heart and also embracing your gifts that come out of your heart's desire, the things that really light you up, that also bring peace and joy and love to others. Those are your goddess given gifts, your born given gifts. And right now we're in the energy to use that, or to embrace that, or to cultivate that. So are you an artist? Do you paint? Do you draw? Do you do graphic design? Do you do sculpture? Do you write? Do you type? Do you blog? Do you journal? Do you write books? Do you write poetry? Do you write songs? Do you sing? Do you play an instrument? What is your gift? How do you create? How do you create from your heart? And how do you inspire others to do the same? This is the energy we're in right now with Hasta Nakshatra. Now, briefly, let's talk about Holi, because that's another celebration in the Vedic world. And in India right now, this moon signifies the celebration of Holi. And Holi is the festival of colors, where they're throwing those colored powders everywhere. If you were on my newsletter list today, I just sent out a Moon Musings newsletter, and I included a really cool article from Smithsonian that talks about each of the colors that we throw for Holi and what they represent, which I thought was really cool. So feel free to check that out if you're on my list. If you're not on my list, go to my website, get on my list. So it's the festival of colors. It's the festival of spring. It's signifying that return of the light. And it's also the festival of love. This is a festival representing the divine love between Radha and Krishna. And it's a pure love, and it's a holy love. And holy love is really the theme of this moon. And I just light up when I say those words, holy love. And I've even made, for some of you, I have this business, Sacred Bath Botanica. I make a bath bomb, a bath blend called Holy Love. And I feel like I need to make that rainbow for Holi to celebrate next time. But yeah, so this holy love is a love that is divine. And if we bring that over into maybe Christianity, you could think about this as Jesus and Mary Magdalene, that divine love. You could think of Isis and Osiris, you can think about all of these loves throughout time that have modeled perfect love or perfect relationship and divine love. And it's interesting that we're celebrating that right now because Venus, the planet Venus, is cazimi or combust or conjunct with the sun. So now we're going to travel back over to the western side of the world. So if you're celebrating Holi, happy Holi, blessings on this Holi. celebrating these colors of life. And if you don't know anything about that celebration, it's okay. But do know that it represents the bliss of life. And, that feeling that we feel when we're in love, and Libras, we just love. Like, look at my shirt today. Love, 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 love. The moon's there. Love, 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 love. But that feeling when we're in love, right? And not only in love with passionate romantic lovers, partners in that way, but the love we feel for our best friends, the love we feel for our children, the love we feel for family, the love we feel when we do the things we love to do. I love doing this. I love hosting these circles with y'all. And, finding that pure, divine, ideal, ultimate love, that's what life is all about, right? And Holly is that exciting season, and that's where we're throwing the colors around, and we're excited, and we're celebrating, because we're celebrating that love. And we should have that kind of love for our life every single day. So with this full moon, ask yourself, what is standing in the way of me loving my life? What is standing in the way of me having ecstatic love for my life? What is standing in the way of me having that feeling of orgasmic bliss in everything I do? Orgasm doesn't have to be sexual. Have you ever had a foodgasm? Oh my gosh, if you're local, I just tried Stinky Binky's cheesecakes this past weekend. Foodgasm. Bathgasm, when you sink into one of those sacred baths with all the oils and the salts and the flowers and the crystals. Anything that just makes us feel like, oh, like so good. Those are the things we need to focus on right now. So that's what we can take on the eastern side of this astrological story with the moon, or astrological guidance with the moon. But with this full moon, maybe this is something you want to write down right now. If you have something to write down what's standing in the way of you having that joy, of having that bliss, of having that ultimate just rainbow life. Okay. So let's go back to the western side of the world. Let's talk about the planet Venus and why Venus is so important right now. Venus, when she makes her trajectory throughout the cosmos, she makes the shape of a 5-pointed star. And 2 days ago, she hit one of her main points where she was 5.5 degrees within the sun. And when we're at these points with Venus, we start to really bring in that ideal of love. Mallory says yes. Yes, we have to love our life. So Venus being so close to the sun, she's still there until about tomorrow, and then she'll start separating a little bit more. When anytime any planet is cazimi, or so close to the sun, it's within about 15 degrees, very combust with the sun, that planet and what energy it represents, its most ideal form of that energy is coming through. So Libra is the planet, Venus is the planet. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love, of sex, of relationships, and even money. A little bit of money. Money can be Mars as well, but money is also Venus, and money is also the sun. And money can also be the moon with worthiness. That's a whole different YouTube or video or conversation. So love, sex, relationships, and possibly money. These are the things you need to be thinking about how you want to have an ideal relationship with. Okay, because that's what's coming through with this full moon in Libra, ruled by Venus, combust with the sun. Now, Venus is making this transition that she makes every year across the sun. She starts out half her time here visibly on Earth as morning star. And when Venus is in morning star, it is more about sex. It is more about money. And it's kind of an aggressive energy, going after those things, going after the things that feel good in those areas of life. It's also winter time. So it's a time when we're moving into that time of conception, right? Or time of, being careful with our stores, our money, our food. In the old days, you really would have had to plan your storage to get through winter. So that's why those energies are coming up right now when she's in morning star, the Venus. But when she is in evening star, and that's what she's getting ready to move into, it's a very soft energy, and it's more about love, and it's more about relationships, and it's about that nurturing, almost motherly energy. And so we're preparing for that now. So as she's combust and we're highlighting her most ideal love, sex, relationship, and money situation, we want to ask ourselves, how do we prepare for all of that? How do we prepare to prioritize those things in our life? How do we prioritize more love? We've already talked about this. How do we prioritize relationship? Not only relationship with others, maybe finding the relationship in balance with others, but also relationship to yourself. So when you're moving into that evening star relationship with Venus, we're being reminded to love ourselves, to treat ourselves, to nurture ourselves, to take care of ourselves. Because when we do that, that's how we show up to others and do the same. And I'm a Libra. I work as a healer. I work in the external so much, and I do get out of balance and I do get burned out because a lot of times I do put myself on the back burner and I forget to come back to me. So right now with this full moon in Libra, if you're feeling the same way, ask yourself, how do you come back to you? How do you find space for you, time for you, energy for you? How do you put yourself first in a non-selfish way, in a nurturing, caring way that will help you raise the vibration of the world moving forward? Kimberly says, full moon blessings, my beautiful souls. Libra girl here, totally feeling this full moon. Yes, welcome Libra sister. And welcome Denny, who just signed on as well. And welcome anybody else that's signing on live. Feel free to continue to chat. Let us know where you're from, how you're feeling, anything that's coming through. This is our collective space to share. So Venus, for us that are Libras and Tauruses, we're both ruled by Venus, and we're feeling it right now. We're feeling it. Last night my son was at his grandma's all night, and I got to really spend some time with my husband, and we went out on a date for dinner, which we never ever do. Watched a movie together last night, slept in the same bed together, which again, we've not done in a long time. We're trying to transition my son into his own bed, and it's not been an easy transition. A lot of times we just sleep in separate beds, and it is the way it is. It's fine. But just having that connection back to a person that I care so deeply about, right? That I have a really strong love for. It just felt so good with this full moon energy. And now connecting to you with this full moon energy, all of my moon brothers and moon sisters, it's really something I love to do, one of my favorite things to do. And it's not a way that I earn money at all, but in a roundabout way does help me build my business and does earn me money in other ways, because you guys go to my memberships or programs or come to classes or events or whatever. But yeah, so, just feeling this energy of relationship. So asking yourself, how is my relationship to the work that I do? How is my relationship to the people that I love? How is my relationship to my family? How's my relationship to my pets, my animals? How's my relationship to my sacred practices? How's my relationship to self-care? These are all things you want to start thinking about right now with this full moon. And anything that's standing in your way, write that down. You need to release that. You need to let that go so that it doesn't continue to stand in your way of this love and joy that you want to continue to hold on to as Venus moves into her evening star phase. Okay, so we've talked about the Vedic astrology, and we've talked about Venus, and we've talked a lot about love. And I promised you that we would do a self-love practice tonight. So let's do that now. First off, take a deep breath. Clear it out, clear your mind, clear your heart, clear your energy. Just kind of let go. If you want to put it in the chat to clear it out, go for it. We're holding space for it here. Let's leave it here when we're done. When we sign off, it's done. It goes to the ether. It's energy that transforms into something else. Emotion, energy in motion. Let it go. And for our self-love practice, you're just going to reach your arms out really wide. And you're going to give yourself a hug. And you're going to wrap one arm over the other. And you're going to keep working your hands around your shoulders as far as you can go. And when you can't go any further, you're just going to move around with it. You could close your eyes if you'd like. Move your body. Take some deep breaths. Give yourself a hug. This physical touch. It's been so limited this past year. If you're a Libra right now, you're just dying for that touch. If you're an air sign, you're dying for some earth energy, for some human touch. So give it to yourself, right? This is where that relationship to yourself comes in. And you might even want to press into different fingers as you move around. It'll give you a massage, or you might find some trigger points to release and breathe into. Make sure you're relaxing the rest of your body. Let this be a treat. Let's take maybe one more breath this way and then release your arms for a moment. Really feel that energy moving down your arms, maybe into your hasta hands, your heart chakra hands, emitting out into the world, right? And then when you're ready, switch sides, working your arms around the other way, whatever you need. And again, moving around, pressing your fingers in, just letting it feel good. Welcome Barb, who just joined our transmission. Welcome anybody that's live. We're just doing this self-care practice, self-love practice, giving ourselves some loving touch. And this is a great practice to do, especially if you are feeling anxious. If you're feeling heightened in your energy, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling over emotional, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling off frequency, give yourself a hug. Give yourself that touch. Take some deep breaths. Release that feeling of loneliness, because you are always here for yourself. You've got your back. You've literally got your back right now. Take one more breath. And release back down and let it all go. And shake it out. And hopefully that feels good. And that's just a quick little self-care routine that you can do to reset your energy, open up your heart, open up your breath, just help you to kind of come back to yourself as well. You're touching yourself, you're bringing yourself back. And a lot of times when we're in this full moon energy and we're pulled up towards the moon, we're kind of pulled out of our human body. So when we can touch ourselves or have these grounding practices with our body and breath, it really reminds us that we're here, we're safe, we're in our human body, all is well. Okay, so we're still going to do a breathwork practice. We're going to do that at the end of our transmission. We're also going to do a tarot reading just before, but feel free to put in the chat right now if you have any questions, if you've got anything you want to know about this moon, anything that's kind of coming to mind right now. If you need to share that, go ahead. And then I'll kind of share whatever I have left with the full moon tonight. Drinking this green tea to represent that green energy. There's so much grass. It's crazy here in the Midwest. It's been raining a lot and the snow just melted a few weeks ago, it seems like, but the grass is just popping up now and it's really green everywhere. So we've got this green energy coming in. It's really exciting. A lot of growth happening right now. So I mentioned a fire burning ceremony or a full moon releasing ceremony, and this is something you'll either want to do right now in this transmission live, or you're going to want to do it afterward if you're involving fire, probably. So if you're doing fire after, you can just burn your list after in a safe fire practice. But if you don't have a fire, you don't want to do a fire ceremony, something else you can do is just a releasing ceremony. And full moons are a representation of release. We're halfway through the lunar cycle. This is a sacred pause for us to analyze where we are, how we're feeling, and what we need to let go of to continue to move towards our intentions and goals, what we need to release so that we continue to feel blissful, happy, joyful, full of love. And with that release of energy, sometimes we need to really take a mind dump or a heart dump or an emotional dump and kind of remind ourselves what we need to release. So that's what we have pen and paper for tonight. And I encourage you to go ahead and write down, if you haven't already, just take a moment to write down maybe some things you are ready to release. Maybe it's just ways of thinking. Maybe it's old habits. Maybe it is a relationship you're ready to let go of or shift in a different way. You don't have to sever relationships. You can transform them. Just like we transform, seed to fruit, or seed to flower, seed to vegetable every year. We have that ability to transform this energy. So right now, just write down what you want to let go of. And I'm going to do the same because I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet with this. So thinking about, again, those energies of Venus, love, relationships, sex, possibly money. What do you need to let go of there? Take a couple of minutes, and if you don't want to write it down right now, that's okay. Just make a little mental note of it. Or maybe you could pull it up and type it in your phone if you can double task like that. Okay, maybe just a moment left. And then when you're ready, we'll release. Lisa says, I just took a look out the window and the moon is orange and beautiful. Ooh. I kind of want to look too. So after we do this release, I'll peek out my window, and if it is, I'll show you the camera too. I can't quite see from the angle I'm at here in my office. Okay, so if you have your list, you could always burn this after in a safe fire practice, and that involves that Aries energy that we're dealing with right now, that ultimate fire energy of the air and the fire with Libra and Aries. It's also just full moon energy in general. But if you don't want to do fire, you can release by ripping it up. You can rip it up, and you can rip it up aggressively. You could get mad. You could rip it up into a bunch of shreds. You could gently rip. You could take your time with that release, whatever you need, but you can rip up this piece of paper. And from here, you could throw it in the trash. You could throw it in the trash. You could bury it in the soil. You could flush it down the toilet. Lots of different ways to get rid of it. You could burn it from here if you wanted to. Practice safe fire practices, please. But now it's transformed into a different energy, and it would be really hard to put this back together. You do want to tear up your paper to the point where it would be difficult to put it back together, because why would you want to? You want to move forward, and you don't want to look back. This is Aries season. And even though we're in this Libra full moon, we've still got a few more, days, weeks, almost 2 weeks, a little less with Aries season. So, we want to move forward, and we don't want to look back. When we burn things, they're transformed. We can't put them back the way they were. Same with these thoughts, these emotions, these relationships, all these things that you're ready to change. So happy full moon release with that. I want to peek out my window real quick. I want to see if we can see a cool orange moon, according to Lisa. Well, Lisa, you're lucky because it's cloudy where I am. I can't see the moon. Bummer. So full moons are a good time, by the way. Speaking of this cloudy full moon, this is still a good time to set out your crystals, any sort of divination tools that you use. If you work with moon water, you could set out a receptacle of water to charge with this moon. And a question I get a lot is, what if it's cloudy, or what if it's cold? What if it's rainy? What if I don't want to set my crystals outside? Like, I'm afraid something's going to get them, or someone's going to take them. It's fine. You can leave them inside. They're like kind of in a window. Number one, if the weather, you don't want to put them outside, put them in a window, or anywhere where the moon's going to stream in, and they can still catch that energy and catch that light. Now, what if it's cloudy or rainy? That's okay. The moon's still here. The energy's still affecting us. It's still shining down, I promise. So you can still set out your crystals however you want. They're still going to cleanse and charge with the full moon. Same with your water or anything else that you're setting out right now. So feel free to do that tonight with this moon. And because this is a super moon, moons are typically felt, like 2 days before and after their peak energy. But if it's a super moon, it's more like 3 to 5 days. And I know some of you that have been coming to my classes have been feeling this full moon for a few days now, the super moon energy moving in. So if you don't set out your stuff to charge tonight, it's cool. You could do it tomorrow. Same if you have a ceremony or ritual you want to do on your own and you don't get to it tonight, you could do it tomorrow. You could do it the next day. You could probably even go into Tuesday and you'd probably be okay still doing it. Okay. So I don't see any questions in the chat right now. I think that we will move on to our tarot reading, and then from there we'll do our breathwork practice, and if everything's good, we'll pretty much seal our circle. I have a couple of announcements at the end of this transmission if you want to stick around. It is a transition, right? When you come out of these moon circles sometimes, or your own ceremony, it is a transition. Okay. So I'm going to take a deep breath, I'm going to grab a drink, and then we are going to talk about the tarot cards that came up with this full super moon in Libra. Just taking a moment of stillness to honor and call in any guides and guardians that need to come through, to help me relay these messages from the cards to everyone tuning in right now. Please let me be a channeler of these important sacred messages and let them have relativity to both myself and everyone joining in right now. Let these cards serve us in their best way. And so it is. And I've pulled 3 cards tonight. I typically pull a past, present, and future card for guidance, reflection, wisdom. And we'll start with our past card. Our past card tonight is the Chariot. The Chariot. So the Chariot, as you can see, there is a white and black horse in that, harmonious Libra energy. We have that balance of shadow and light. And we're being reminded right now that in our past, we have conquered a lot of shadow and have now returned to the light. It feels like this whole past year, right? Kind of March of 2020 was that pivotal moment in North America, especially in the United States, where things started to really shut down, get a little scary, lots of uncertainty, lots of fear, a lot of battles, right? Battles with our health, battles with our immunity, battles with our fear, battles with the uncertainty, battles with others. We've been going to battle a lot as keyboard warriors. I don't know how much that serves us, right? But the Chariot is a card that symbolizes victory and kind of says, yeah, like you've been out to battle in your chariot, but now you're coming home and now you can rest and now you can reap the, not necessarily rewards of your battles, but you can take in the wisdom of what you went through and you can learn from it and you can move forward from here into the next battle with an advantage. Knowing what to do next time, being more prepared. So I think that is the energy that, we're being reminded of as we move now into this next year. I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet, a lot of memes, but it's been, stuff about March of 2020 and just like, oh boy, like this is the 1-year anniversary, like things are still crazy. What's going to happen this year? But this Chariot is reminding us that that battle is done, that battle is over, and as we move forward, it's not going to be the same. We're going to be okay. And this is also a reminder of Cancer energy, which is really interesting because Cancer is the sign of the mother. And I mentioned that we're kind of in this Venus transition, moving into a more motherly energy as we move forward. And I think we've really had to turn to kind of a motherly, matriarchal energy over this past year. This is the past card, right? So we've had to mother ourselves. We've had to take care of ourselves. Maybe you've not even been able to visit your like physical mother or your parents in your life or your caretakers. Maybe you've really been alone and isolated and had to take care of yourself. We've also had to mother each other in different ways. We've had mothers themselves have really stepped up. But just that mothering of children, if you have children in your life, there's been a lot of homeschooling and a lot more time with children. And, dads are in that too. I'm not like playing with gender roles here, but, there's that strong mothering energy that's really taken over the past year to remind us that, hey, we've got to take care of ourselves and do things a little differently, but we're going to be okay, and we still love each other, and we still love ourselves, and it's all going to work out. So the Chariot is reminding us of our past, reminding us of what we've been through, and reminding us that we're going to be okay moving forward. Moving on to the present card, we have the Page of Cups. And I think it's interesting that this is our present card because the color of the cups is green and red. This card is green and red, which is the color of the heart chakra. We have so much heart energy right now with this Venus Cazimi and this Libra energy. So I'm not surprised that we pull the Page of Cups. Now, cups themselves represent abundance. They represent emotion. And the Page of Cups is a little emotionally overwhelmed. They're ruled by their emotions a bit. And full moons are a time of heightened emotion. So when we have a super moon, we're even more emotional than normal. And this doesn't have to just be emotions as in sad, depressed, tired, low frequency. We're tired because we're pulled up into our mind. I mentioned this earlier. If you're tired, exhausted right now, it's because your heart is overwhelmed with this Venus Cazimi conjunction with the sun, and your mind is overwhelmed with all of this air Libra supermoon energy. So you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed. You're feeling heightened. You're feeling a little off. The Page of Cups is reminding you that your abundance, your future of bliss, your future of joy, your future of balance and peace comes from your control. You're holding that in the palm of your hands. This almost goes back to that Hasta Nakshatra energy, right? When we're in that hand energy of creation, creating our own life, we have the power to manifest what we want, to live out of joy. And when we live out of our heart too, when we start to find gratitude for everything, and I know that's crazy to think about, but I'm here to tell you that you can find gratitude for everything, because I have found gratitude for my father's suicide. That might be triggering for some people, and I apologize for that, but I have found gratitude for my father's suicide because of my father. And I've had let me go back and say, I've had so many conversations with my father. I'm a medium and I can conversate with my father. I've had so many conversations with my father around this that have brought me peace. So I can speak on this. I feel really comfortable with this. But, I took a very over emotional thing, a thing that really overpowered my whole life for a while. I was in my emotions. I was in my water energy. I was drinking way too much. I was tearing up my body by running too long and too hard. I was working out too heavy. I wasn't eating a proper diet with good nutrition. I was overwhelmed in all these emotions because of the death of my father. But all of that eventually led to me walking into a yoga class. And all of that eventually led to me becoming a yoga teacher. And all of that eventually led to me finding a path of spiritual breadcrumbs and self-healing. And if my dad had never committed suicide, I don't know if I'd be here doing this right now with you. I really don't. So I say this to tell you that you have the ability, when you move out of your heart, when you find gratitude for it, for all of it, the universe will give you more to be grateful for, and it won't be the suffering. It won't be the stuff that you have to find the golden nugget of gratitude with. It'll be stuff that just shines with gratitude, that you'll be so thankful for and so joyful to receive. And so open to receive because you have that room in your heart. These hands are an extension of our heart. We cannot create through our hands if we don't open up our heart space and our heart chakra. So this Page of Cups is reminding us right now to look at the present moment. okay, to look at our emotions, to look at where we're feeling heightened, feeling overwhelmed, what's causing us to feel that way, and can we shift that relationship? There's that relationship thing again, right? Venus. Can we shift that relationship so that it now brings us joy? It brings us support. It brings us bliss. The Page of Cups can also represent insecurity. Are you feeling insecure about your gifts right now? Are you feeling a lack of love for the things that you want to create and the things that you want to do with your hands that will bring you more joy, the things that you want to bring to this planet through from your heart's desire? Is there insecurity around that? A lack of support? Guess who your own best cheerleader is? Guess who your own best support system is? Yourself. Look at this Page of Cups. He's hugging himself. He's got that cape wrapped around. You know there's an arm inside it giving himself a little hug. And then he's holding on to his emotions with the other hand, and he's really, containing that and holding himself through it. And you can do the same. So hold yourself through this full moon and through your emotions and be your own support system. And I promise you, sisters and brothers, when you learn to clap for yourself, to be your own cheerleader and not look for that external validation, the external validation comes, the support comes. There's people here tonight that I don't know. And there's people in this transmission I don't know. There's people that tune into the YouTube I definitely don't know, that I've never met before. But they've gravitated to me out of that energy of me feeling confident in doing what I do and supporting myself through it all. And so just trust that if you're feeling insecure right now, that you can give yourself that support. Find ways to carve out time for yourself, to love yourself, support yourself. And you'll continue, to kind of find your spiritual posse to support you moving forward. And then moving on to our future card, she's back. The Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords. She comes up a lot. She really does. And the Queen of Swords, she rules her life. Swords are about slaying. Swords are about release. Swords are about severance, cutting ties, making boundaries. We just did this releasing ceremony, right? This Aries energy that's going to continue to burn for the next week and a half or so is burning away what no longer serves as we move into the future through the rest of this lunar cycle. Burn away what no longer serves. Cut it away. Sever your relationship and retie it. Retie it in a different way. If you want to keep that relationship in a different way, retie that knot. Bring the rope. Bring the energy. And have them take hold of that rope from you. You set the standards. You set the boundaries. If that's what you need to do right now. The Queen of Swords represents really ultimate victory. I think of Kali, Jai Kali Ma, this ultimate victory with the sword especially. You could also think about this as protection. Archangel Michael, who holds the sword. We are heavily protected right now. I say it time and time again, but we are heavily protected. And as we move forward into this unknown, we are even more and more protected by the angels, by the archangels, by the deities, by these star communities and other planets and cosmos. We're being protected right now. So the Queen of Swords is reminding us of that. And the Queen of Swords, she really, I'm gonna cuss. I'm warning you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Queen of Swords doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't. And I wrote about this when I wrote about the moon today because Aries, I know, because I have an Aries child, they give no flippin' you-know-whats. Very independent, very headstrong, I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to work at it until I figure it out. I'm going to work at it until I can do it. Very independent energy. So the Queen of Swords embraces that energy and she gains a lot of respect from her community for that. She rules with wit and grace and strength in that give no you know what attitude. And people respect that. I mean, how many people do you admire? How many people do you follow in the real world or social media world, celebrity world, whatever, that just have kind of that headstrong same energy and you really admire that? Yeah, so this is the energy as we move forward into the future that we need to embrace for ourselves. You know, ruling ourselves with sovereignty, really taking charge of our lives, taking heed around what we want to do and how we want to live. This is the energy that we're moving into just kind of as a collective now. We're moving into a very independent, free-thinking collective that also tends to respect one another out of it. So you might find over this past year, you've been gravitating towards a lot of like-minded individuals, especially people that just don't give a damn when it comes to the way that they feel and how they express themselves. And maybe that's something you gravitated towards. You know, this is a time where collectively we are going to start moving towards others that we want to support, moving towards others that we want to relate with. There's that development of relationships again. And so, yeah, so I think as you move forward from this full moon, you just need to kind of ask yourself the same, like, can you develop that stronger relationship for yourselves? Can you rule your life self-sovereign? I don't think the Queen of Swords needs a king. She's got one, but she doesn't need one, right? She's pretty independent. And so we can kind of move forward with that same energy from here. So, past card, the Chariot. We've been through the battle of the shadows. We're now coming back to the light. We're being reminded that the battle is over and that we have an advantage if the battle happens again. The Page of Cups is a little insecure and a little over emotional, but they also know that when they love themselves and they support themselves, that they find the most stability. And when they live out of their heart with gratitude, that their cup will runneth over. And our Queen of Swords in the future reminding us to slay, brothers and sisters, slay. Continue to find those ideal relationships that this Venus Cazimi is asking us to do. Find that ideal relationship with yourself. Find the balance between the we and the me. Rule your life. Do what you want to do. And others will support you and follow you and help you to continue to do so. Mallory says, it's taken you a long time to get here. I'm so happy you're at this point. Oh, thank you so much, sister. So Mallory here, she's one of my sisters, and she kind of helped me start all of this, talking about doing these moon circles and being here on the ether. She was one of the first ones that pushed me to do it and get online and get my website going and all of that. So thank you, sister. I love you. Thank you for being here. We're going to do a breathwork practice, but I want to take a moment and make sure you don't have any questions over that tarot reading or over the moon in general. You might have learned the word Cazimi for the first time this transmission. It's a word I learned this week or so, about a week ago for the first time. I knew about conjunctions. I knew about Venus going combust, but I didn't know it was called Cazimi, which is really interesting. Yeah. So maybe before we do our breathwork practice, we'll take these couple of announcements. The first announcement is that next moon circle will be the new moon in Aries. That's going to be April 10th at 7 p.m. Central Time here on Facebook Live on the Vina Lene page. If you're on YouTube, just know that the lives are on the Vina Lene Facebook page for now. The new moon in Aries is actually peaking on the night of the 11th. That Sunday, but it's my son's birthday and it's just a special day for me and it's auspicious and I really want to spend it with him and I want to honor the reflection of my birth story. I just want to take that day to be with him and be with family and be with myself a little bit too, but I still want to be with you because I love these circles so much. So I want to join you on the 10th. If you will join me, and that is a Saturday night, and that'll be 7 p.m. To honor the new moon in Aries, and we'll talk all about that, more fire energy. And then the same thing, nope, actually I lie. Our Scorpio full moon circle coming up will be just kind of later in the evening. It'll be like an 8:30 in the evening. But we'll talk about that down the road. Okay, the other announcement I have, at the time of this transmission, I do still have openings for my spring yoga retreat at Lake of the Ozarks. That is April 29th through May 3rd. The registration deadline is April 1st. That is coming up super quick, guys. Please message me if you're interested in registering. If money is holding you back, but you're going to have the money before the dates of the retreat, please don't let that hold you back from registering. Just send me a message or contact me. We will work something out. I want you to be able to go if you really want to go. And then speaking of that, there is one beautiful sister who is looking to share a room for the yoga retreat and just kind of save some money. So if that's something you're interested in, just let me know. Send me a message and I'll connect the two of you and you guys can decide if you're a good fit or not. But I just want to throw that out there that is coming up. We still have spaces open. Registration deadline is April 1st. If you need to register by April 1st but need to wait a little bit longer to get the money in, please message me. Okay, what else do I want to announce? I think that's it. I think that's all I had. I feel like there was something else, but maybe not. Okay. If it comes back to my airhead Libra brain, I'll let you know. Okay. So we are going to finish our circle tonight with a breath work practice. We are going to ground back into our comfortable seat, whatever that is for our body. We are bringing our hands to our heart, to our belly. And we are noticing 3 spaces. We're noticing our belly, we're noticing our heart, and we're noticing the space in between. Right about your diaphragm area. And we're doing something called 3-chambered breath. And as you inhale, you're going to feel first your belly rise, and then the space in between, and then your heart. As you exhale, your belly will soften, and your diaphragm, and your heart. So continue to join me here. Inhale, belly, diaphragm, heart. Exhale, belly, diaphragm, heart. Keep going. Belly, diaphragm, heart. Belly, diaphragm, heart. Just keep going with your own guidance. Keep breathing in this way. Really use your hands as guidance. Feel them rise and fall. And can you not only breathe into the front side of your body, into these 3 chambers, but can you also breathe into the sides? Can you breathe into your outer waist? Your outer hips first, then your outer waist, and then your outer ribs or underarms. And then breathing out of your outer hips, your outer waist, your underarms. And same for the back side, breathing into low back, mid back, upper back. Breathing out of low back, mid back, upper back. Let's take just a few more rounds. Lower chamber, middle chamber, upper chamber, breathing in and out. Let's do one more round of breath. And then gently let it go. Blink your eyes open if they're closed. Welcome back. So this is a great breathwork practice to harmonize your energy, just like we use this healing lane to harmonize our energy. It smells so good. We can use our breathwork, right? And when we bring our hands to our body, we remind ourselves that we're here in the present moment. We bring our hasta, our hands, our heart chakra to ourselves. We're bringing ourselves love, transferring that heart energy to ourselves. And with this full moon, we remind ourselves we're here and safe and loved in our human bodies. We're here. We're not up at the moon. We're here having this earthly experience. And as we breathe into these 3 chambers of our breath, it really helps to soothe our nervous system. It breathes around our organs. It calms our energy. And it keeps us focused. So this is a great breath work to just bring your energy back to center, calming yourself or regulating in whatever way that you need to. So feel free to do that breath work anytime that you need, maybe even beyond this full moon. So that is all I have for you, Moon Tribe. Thank you so much for being here. By the way, if you're on my email list, thank you for the email bombs I've been sending out this week, reminding everybody about the retreat. And then, it just happens to be a full moon and the first of the month is coming up. So you're getting a lot of emails from me right now, but I trust that you know that relationship is sacred between us. I would never abuse it. You can always unsubscribe from different threads and whatnot that are coming through. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. This replay will be up on the website, vinalene.com. This will also be on YouTube. Should be here by tomorrow. I'll get a write-up for the current tarot reading, get it on the website probably tomorrow morning as well. Video reading will also be up on YouTube and website by tomorrow. Feel free to read more about the moon. Like I said, the tarot reading will be up tomorrow, so you can read more about that. Sometimes things come through differently when I write versus when I speak. I kind of do a lot of this on the fly because I just channel what comes through. But when I write, it's a little bit different. And so just feel free to go to the Moon Musings section on my website, and you can read about the full supermoon in Libra and what I wrote about that. And also, you should have gotten an email if you're on my list, and it tells you just a few ways to celebrate this full moon in Libra. Hey, Kat, I know you're a fellow Libra as well. We got lots of Libras on the transmission tonight. I love it. I think that's it, guys. We went a little over with time tonight, so thank you for your patience. I hope that you have a beautiful full moon. I will see you again next time on April 10th, 7 p.m. Central Time, Vina Lene Facebook page, honoring the new moon in Aries. I will see you then. Namaste.